called South Dakota Christmas 2008. It was way too cold to sleep in the garage, but that's what she'd gotten herself into, slamming the door. There wasn't really any place to sleep, even to sleep. Over by the big panel door, Sherry could actually see the ice glazing. The water hadn't so much slipped in through the crack as saturated the whole door. It would fall to the ground in a rotten explosion next spring. But for now, it was a solid sheet of ice. Some of the flashing decorations outside were even visible right through the wood before she turned the light on. Sherry looked at the walls, too, the bare studs and the joists above her. In the summer, she loved the way the garage's bones showed, like she was hiding in the ark, and every nail was a visible message from God. Then it had the spaciousness, that churchy feeling of openness. Now it just looked like it was hungry for insulation. She made her way across the floor, littered with the remains of her sister's art projects, paper mache, broken china, super elastic flower plastic, to the baby-sized futon in the corner. The far side had been peed on by Farley when he was sick last summer. They'd got the smell out with some kind of enzyme spray, but everyone knew which side was full of pee. You had to get the clean side if you were hanging out in the garage. That or sit right on the concrete floor. Not very inviting. Sherry slid down carefully and hunched over her knees, sleeves pulled low over her knuckles. Nothing had been right at home since Farley died. She didn't know why that should be the trigger. He was just a dog, but he was everybody's dog. He didn't show special allegiances, and somehow, while he was there, sleeping on her feet or licking the sunscreen off Dolly's back, they all had a share in things. He barked at Penny in every new hat till Penny said, "Now, Farley, shush," and then he'd stop. Somehow, it had still felt like a family. Now Farley was gone, and it was like nobody remembered who they were supposed to be anymore. They remembered plenty about who you were supposed to be. They remembered to fault you if you stepped out of character for a minute, even if it was the character somebody had welded onto you when you were 6. Dolly was the worst. They'd been going around the table. Not Sherry, she was sitting in the living room staring at the candle angel, but the others were going around the table doing some truth or dare kind of game. And Dolly had just admitted to a secret loathing for Johnny Depp. When she turned to Sherry and said, "Okay, sister, who do you have a crush on right this minute?" And Sherry could not say. It's not that she didn't know, she couldn't say it. Not now, not at Christmas, not when she was outnumbered. It wasn't that they would care, they probably wouldn't care. They probably wouldn't get it, but they wouldn't hate her or anything. It was just still in her heart, and she wasn't ready to talk, and she wasn't ready to lie. She didn't lie, she hated to lie. And she didn't know how to equivocate because no matter what they say about it, it really is lying. She couldn't lie to her family. If her dad was there, she could have maybe told him the truth and been free to lie to them. But without him, she couldn't lie to anyone. Why do people think you can't be shy in your own home? Like, just because people are your relatives, just because you love them, you don't have any kind of, you can't feel anything that doesn't fit into their way of thinking about you. Oh, she's okay, she's just being freaky, or mean, selfish, pretentious, snotty. It was easier to say that stuff than to even think she might feel shy, feel something they didn't already know all about. Instead, it was, "Mom, Sherry's not playing. Mom, Sherry won't participate. Mom, Sherry's being mean." Dolly, you don't even know what mean means. Small, pinched, tight. It means not being able to think outside your own little hamster wheel. The futon was crunchy under her butt, which wasn't normal. Sherry shifted and found her center again, but there was definitely something sharp down there. She climbed off and gingerly poked back the sheet, expecting to find a Barbie on a camping trip. It was a rat. A stiff, dead rat. Its tail solidified into a hard figure 8, its teeth protruding from its little death mask. She didn't scream, but she did back up right into the hanging light bulb with the pull chain, which set it swinging. She could see her breath in odd flashes. Her feet felt blue. She looked cautiously around at all the surfaces, expecting more mummified rats to leap out in the pulsing light, but there were none. Still, she could hardly sit back down. She was too cold anyway. If she didn't start moving, she really would freeze. Beside her was a tower of empty boxes where the decorations had all been taken inside. Sugar plum fairy doll, the wreath with sparkle pears, the chrome reindeer that were now marching across under the TV. She felt odd, standing in their empty house, looking at the spaces where they belonged, thinking of them all decorating the living room, and looking at the space where she should be, or was usually. Maybe she couldn't go back till Christmas was over and they could change places. She'd said something unusually rude to Dolly. If you make apple-cheeked Dolly cry for Christmas, there's probably a special hell. That's when she saw the box. It was a big white box, the kind you keep wedding dresses in, with the window on top. And she might have thought it was that, but she'd seen it before. It was Dad's Santa suit box. Dad had worn his Santa suit every year when she was little. He'd done everything in it for a whole week, from hanging the decorations to baking bread. She was pretty sure he'd pushed the snow off the roof in it one year. But then it got cleaned and boxed every time. Oh, Dad. Dad, who would surely have seen her, known her, not just looked over and only seen what he remembered. That's what they did. They didn't look, they just remembered. But now Sherry was remembering Dad. Maybe it wasn't fair to him, remembering this way. Like it was selfish, because she was only remembering the stuff that made her feel loved and happy, not the whole complicated person. I mean, he had to be a lot more than just the singing guy who wore a Santa suit at Christmas time and gave her monkey rides and explained to her about history and stuff. He had to be. If she only remembered this, wasn't she killing the other part of him? Making him, forcing him to be less than he was just because he was dead? Why did it even work that way? It was like when Dad died, they all knew how to keep being themselves, being the people he knew. They all knew what to do and how to keep being a family. It wasn't until Farley died that everyone forgot or gave up. She pulled on the Santa suit, right over her jeans. Warm, heavy, dark red velvet. Warm, white sheep fleece that smelled of lanolin. It was a great suit. It was also way too big. Still, she pulled the real sheep fleece beard on and tugged the hat down to hug her head. The suit must have weighed 20 pounds. Wearing the suit, she felt like Dad. Wearing the suit, Dolly seemed pretty small and silly. It was a good, heavy suit. Penny wasn't the problem, Sherry thought. Penny just goes along trying to feel safe. If I gave her something else to go along with, she probably would. Her cell phone buzzed in her pocket, and she reached in, but it was the Santa pocket, and there was something else in it. Her thin hand slid out, holding a shiny Zippo lighter. Dad didn't smoke. Why would he even have a lighter? The buzzing stopped. Sherry flicked the lighter on and off, moving her face into the tiny puff of warmth where the flame had been. The warmth found that little circle where her lips showed between the mustache and the beard, and that burnt gas smell slid up the front of her nose. She liked the way the lighter felt in her hand, the way it heated up when she used it. She smelled a little burnt hair, like one stray strand of beard had been singed. Her pocket did that little extra buzz for when you don't read your messages, and she reached inside the red suit pants to find her jeans. A text from her mom. Dinner in 5. Please come back in, honey. No reason not to, really. No reason, now that she was warm.